It is Monday, November 3rd, and you are watching the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. Snake, we're going to do things a little differently today. You know, I say it every time. We do read the comments. And in our last show, someone sent in a really good idea. Let's bring it up, actually. So, Sweet Swing 1 sent in this comment here, and Snake and I loved it. Says, guys, I'm loving the show. Well, we love you, Sweet Swing. I have an idea for an episode. Snake goes through the current Habs lineup and shares where he had each player ranked in their draft year compared to where they went. Could make for some great discussion. I couldn't agree more. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So we got that and a whole lot more coming up right here, right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Trust the process. The sickest NHL prospect podcast with Snake and Shayne.
With the 5th overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
It's gonna be sick.
That's right, producer Shayne here, joined as always by my great co-host Simon the Snake Boisvert. Snake, how are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about you, Shayne?
Excellent. I'm excited for this show. I've been looking forward to it ever since we agreed that this is what we're going to do. You know what? This is going to be a great discussion. I'm really looking forward to it. But Snake, I got a question to ask you before we get things rolling, however. Have you changed your summer tires yet?
Yes, last week.
Oh, Snake is an upstanding citizen, and we encourage you all to do so very soon. But guess what? If you haven't done it yet, we got you covered, okay? Because we partnered with Point S and GT Radio for this promotion. Listen to this carefully, okay? Point S and GT Radio are offering you the chance to win a new set of GT Radio winter tires, plus free installation at a Point S garage, a total value of $1,000. You heard me right. In order to participate, you go to the Sick Podcast Instagram page, you like and comment on the pinned post, and you have to follow the Sick Podcast and Point S on Instagram. It's that simple. Really is. The contest ends November 16th, okay? Point S is your trusted garage for complete vehicle care. Take down that information, go to the Instagram, participate. Highly encouraged. Now,
well, it's a good thing I did it last week because I would not have been eligible for the prize anyway. I don't think so.
We can't participate, but we hope you all do in big numbers. Snake, before we get into our topic today, of course, last show, if you haven't watched it, right, we talked about Alexander Zarovski, and, you know, I did the whole costume thing. He's on fire, all that stuff. He's still on fire, Snake. 14 points in 13 games. Let's continue the discussion a little bit, because I told you I had more questions about him. Really, the main question that I have is when he does come over to North America, and it's, you know, supposed to be, I guess, 2 years from now, right? He has an extra year in the KHL. The year after that, he should be able to come over. How much time does he spend in the AHL, you think?
0.
Straight to the Habs.
Yeah. I think the only way he could spend time in the AHL perhaps is if the Habs sign him at the end of the year. So maybe next year at age 19, he could play in the AHL for a while.
Okay.
If he comes here at age 20, which is what we expect, I mean, if the guy spends time in the AHL, it wouldn't be more than a month. I mean, this is going to be an NHL-ready player at age 20, in my opinion. I watched his last game again on, the last one that was available to me on Friday. And again, it's so translatable what he does, because on top of having great hands, making plays and everything, he's a hard worker. He constantly skates around, looking for the puck, looking to make a play. And those are qualities that are very, very important in the NHL. And to me, I was just watching, an NHL player playing in Russia.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And now, Snake, there's another discussion regarding Zarovski in regards to his position.
Yeah.
He was drafted as a winger. He's been playing games as center. And he's been producing. So what are we thinking here?
That I can't tell you right away that he's going to be a centerman in the NHL. Okay,
Yeah.
It's too early to tell. It's a very hard position to master. He has done well so far in whenever he played center in the KHL, but that I can't guarantee. I can tell you he's going to be a great player in the NHL. Yeah. Centerman, I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it depends also on what happens with Michael Hage, how he progresses, if there's a trade made by the Habs. So this is, look, 2 years down the road is very, very far away. If he continues playing center in the KHL and gaining experience at that position, perhaps he could. But I don't know what the Habs plans are for him, and if the Habs are going to get another guy via trade, which is very possible. I mean, with the start that they have. Yeah. I mean, they're 9-3. I think at some point Kent Hughes is going to become a buyer, but a serious buyer. These contenders become serious buyers, the Tampa Bays of the world, the Florida Panthers of the world. I think at some point. So we'll see what happens. But Zarovski on the top 6 in a couple of years, I think to me it's a very, very strong possibility. He's absolutely fantastic. I'm very bold on this guy.
Yeah, no, I think it's hard not to be with what he's shown so far in the KHL. I mean, it's a man's league, right? And to be 18 years old doing that, 14 points in 13 games, and we stress every time he's earning those points, right? They're not lucky bounces. So
nope, exactly, very important. Also, yeah,
very encouraging for Alexander Zarovski, and the fact that he is fluid in terms of his positioning, right? Winger, center, he's got that in his bag. That's another added asset for him and for the Habs. So encouraging stuff. But Snake, let's get into the meat of this show here, and we're very excited for this discussion.
Where I'm going to start looking very bad.
But again, the draft and scouting is not an exact science. If it were, every team, there wouldn't be this show, right? There wouldn't be an interest in scouting. It would just be easy. The fact that it is hard makes it fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to look back and we're going to start in chronological order. So the oldest player, right? So we'll start with Brendan Gallagher, who was drafted in 2010. We're going to see where he was drafted, where Snake had him, and where he would go maybe today, right?
That's the interesting thing, because when you do a redraft, sometimes you see this in the hockey news and all these websites, and you do a redraft. If someone had shown the redraft list on the night of the draft,
makes
the guys like Corey Pronman and Scott Wheeler and all these draft analysts, if they had come up with that list, the redraft list, 15 years later, they would have been told they were the most incompetent analysts in hockey.
Yeah.
But it's funny how every time one analyst has a take that goes slightly against consensus, he's being thrown rocks. Why do you have this guy at 3? This doesn't make sense. Okay, maybe it won't make sense 15 years down the road. But maybe there's another guy who's going to be number 3 in the redraft that you never saw coming.
I love it.
So on Mathias et Serpent, we're going to be doing part of the show on the 2019 draft today. And the Cole Caulfield draft, Alex Newhook, Kirby Dach. We're going to talk about this. And Mathias last week in La Presse, he did a redraft, and he had Thomas Harley at number 1. I don't really agree. I prefer Jack Hughes, but I do think that Thomas Harley would probably go number 2 in the draft. He went, 18 at the time? If someone had ranked Thomas Harley in the top 3, what would people have said? You're crazy. He's good, but he's not that good. But now when you look at it, he was the best defenseman from that draft class. Just signed a big contract, and he's been very, very good for Dallas.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's start with Gallagher.
Brendan Gallagher in 2010 was drafted in the 5th round, 147th overall by the Montreal Canadiens. Where did you have him on your list?
Okay, I had him in round 2 for 2 reasons. Yeah, but look, throwing darts. Okay, I'm not telling you that I thought he was going to become. Yeah, he was going to become a 30-goal scorer in the NHL. It's just that he was a 41-goal guy in the WHL at the time, at age 17, and he was a goal scorer. But the thing is, the reason why he didn't go higher was because he wasn't very big, and he was not a very fast skater. And usually, especially 15 years ago, that combination of small and not very fast was a no-no in the NHL. But he was hardworking, and he could score goals. So I had him 2nd round, probably mid-2nd round. You take a flyer, you don't expect too much, because even 2nd round picks, you can't expect too much. 25% of them have a career. So I would have taken a flyer on him just because of the goal scoring aspect, mid-2nd round.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, yeah, he's got that X factor, right? The heart can't teach that. He's got it in spades. So Brendan Gallagher. Now, 2012, 2 players here. Start with Mike Matheson, who was drafted in the 1st round, 23rd overall by the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
Out of Boston College. What did you think of him?
I had him approximately at 20th. I've been following this kid since he was 15 because he played for Lac Saint Louis in the West Island for a couple of years. Then he went to the USHL. Unfortunately, he didn't come to the QMJHL. And so at the time, I thought that he was a fantastic skater. Didn't think he was necessarily a super offensive defenseman. I thought he was a good offensive defenseman, but not necessarily a star, a la Makar, Hughes, or all these guys, Hudson. So I figured, 20th would make sense. There are defensemen that I had ranked ahead of him. And today, I kind of regret having ranked them ahead of him because I think he was better. Like a guy like, I don't know, I like Jacob Trouba a lot. I think he had a good career, but was he really better than Madison? Not sure. So that's just an example of guys that I had ahead of him. And today, you can argue that Madison was as good as he was, as they were. Of course, Madison had his moments. Like in Pittsburgh, they didn't like him very much. Yeah. And that's why they basically gave him to the Habs for free. So he did not have he was not consistent throughout his career. But overall, I think right now, if you do a redraft, he would probably go in the top 20 for sure.
Yeah, and a freak athlete. I mean, whenever teams have these, fitness competitions or tests, he's always first. Like this guy is just he's an alien in that sense.
And he was, I remember when he was 16, he was like a second-year player in Lac Saint Louis, and he had Jonathan Drouin, Anthony Duclair as teammates. When will you see a midget AAA hockey team have 3 future NHLers? I mean, Friday nights in DDO were great. Back in 2010, 2011, that season. And I remember Madison was like, he was playing every other shift. And he was already a big leader, And remember, Drouin and Duclair were stars.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do it their own way, from what I remember. But Madison was there, and it was great. They had a great team.
Now, the other player drafted in 2012 is Josh Anderson.
Yes.
By the Columbus Blue Jackets. He went in the 4th round.
Yeah.
95th overall. Where did you have him ranked?
Probably another take a flyer, late 2nd round. The reason why I had him in the 2nd round is because although he didn't have great stats, he played for the London Knights. And remember, London Knights, over the last 20 years, they've been great. 17-year-old players don't always get a chance to shine. And I'm thinking afterwards, guys like Luke Evangelista at 17 kind of went under the radar, was drafted in the 2nd round, could have been a 1st rounder, but he didn't have enough ice time. Last year at the Memorial Cup, I remember seeing Noah Reed, 17-year-old. He didn't play at all. he was traded to I think it's Niagara recently, last week. So he went in the 4th round. So you got guys like that in London. You always, when you scout great teams, you always have to check who's 17 years old, who would be playing more if the guy was on a weaker team.
Yeah.
And especially London Knights. So that's why I saw Anderson. I thought he was a very north-south type of guy, like we know him. So that's why I never thought of him as a first-rounder. Although today, if there was a redraft, he would probably go in the 1st round. So I saw a late 2nd rounder at the time. Another guy you throw darts, take a flyer, that's all.
And the thing about the London Knights, and I like that you bring up this point here, I mean, how many players has that team produced? And not only players, good NHL players.
Yeah.
Like that is just like a farm team for the NHL. Like, okay, you want a good junior player? Just pick one from the London Knights. Chances are they're going to turn out well. Like that program is incredible.
Yeah, one might say, oh, they have money. They have a packed arena every night. It's a big market in London.
Yeah,
I do agree to an extent, but I think the Hunters over the last 20 years have done a fantastic job, because even if you have money, if you have an appealing context, to get players, at some point, if you're not a great GM, coach, whatever, developer, of prospects, you're not going to be good year in, year out for 20 years. Even if you have money and a great context to attract players.
Good point there. 2014 now. We're skipping 2013 because there's no players there. 2014 is a fun one.
Yeah.
It's the only player on the Habs that was drafted there was Jake Evans in the 7th round, 207th overall.
Yeah.
An anomaly, right?
Well, look, he was in the Ontario Junior Hockey League, which is a junior A caliber league. Every year I try and look at those junior A leagues. There's one in Alberta, BCHL and everything. And you always think, okay, could there be a hidden gem? And it's very rare that sometimes I do find players, but most of them, they never make it to the NHL, honestly. I don't think I've ever had success, identifying them. And obviously Evans, I looked at my notes. It was not under my radar at all.
Yeah. I think you're not the only one there. 2015 now. 2 Québécois on the Habs from that draft. Start with Samuel Montembeault, 3rd round pick, 77th overall by the Florida Panthers. Played for L'Armada, the Blainville. Of course, he was excellent there. Yeah. What did you think of him in this draft year?
Well, I was obviously very familiar with him because I was going to the games quite a bit. I thought he was a pretty good goalie, a decent prospect. And goalies, I think they should be on a separate list. Yeah. So I think it's more like, okay, if you want a goalie, at some point you take him, whether it be the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. I don't know. He was on the maybes, let's call it, on the goalie list.
That's
because
fair.
he was good. He was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Now the other one, Alexandre Carrier.
Yeah.
4th round, 115th overall by the Nashville Predators. Safe to say he'd go a bit higher,
Another first round pick.
Yeah.
Look, I had him 3rd or 4th round because, look, a defenseman under 6 foot tall. He was offensively very good, but not necessarily great, not necessarily a star, but he was very good. Played in Gatineau, I remember at the time. So, 3rd, 4th round. Didn't expect him to make the NHL, but he did. Good for him.
What a player. Yeah. Underrated.
Yeah.
Incredibly underrated. 2016 is a fun one, Snake, and we've had this discussion before, but I think we'll have it again.
Oh, God.
Patrick Laine, 1st round, 2nd overall. Yeah. I know where you had him ranked.
I had him 1st.
You're not the only one, though. You're not the only one. And listen, we go back to his draft year. There's very good reasons for it. Like, this guy was scoring at an insane
He was a monster.
rate.
He was a monster. He was aggressive.
Exactly.
He was protecting the puck well, going to the net. I mean, this is not the Patrick Laine that we've seen in Montreal, except for the shot. Patrick Laine 10 years ago was not the Patrick Laine that we've seen. He was more like that in Winnipeg at first, but then it kind of faded away. He was traded to Columbus, and then he benefited. The little that he played in Columbus, he benefited a lot from being with Johnny Gaudreau at the time. And then he was traded, and then, Gaudreau passed away, unfortunately. And then, he was traded to Montreal. He had a good sequence last year with his shot. A real enigma. But I remember 10 years ago in the scouting circles, they were saying he had a personality. But me, I like someone who has a personality.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, he has a personality. Fine. I don't care. I mean, lots of great wide receivers in the NFL have personalities. The Randy Moss and the Terrell Owens.
Brown? Antonio Brown?
Yeah, but that's another story. There's
personality.
Yeah, but there's personality and personality,
And personalities.
Yeah, when it comes to, doing jail time and did what he did, I mean, that's another story. But, just someone who's a little bit eccentric and everything.
Right. I get you.
But look, he was he was just great. Obviously, it was a mistake ranking him number 1. I don't know where we would go in a redraft. He would certainly go top 10 in the sense that he still had good seasons. And the 2016 draft was not very strong. But, that lottery win by the Leafs was a game changer, because imagine if they hadn't won, let's say they draft number 2, they probably would have taken Laine.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And, Winnipeg would have taken Matthews. And so that draft lottery very often can be a game changer for teams.
Yeah, we'll see that. Well, you guys will talk about it for the 2019 draft. That draft lottery was monumental for the New Jersey Devils. Let's just say that.
Of course. Yeah.
Moving on from 2016 on to 2017.
Yes.
The current Montreal Canadiens captain Nick Suzuki was drafted in the first round, 13th overall by the Vegas Golden Knights. 2017 is a really good draft. I mean, we remember Flyers.
Nolan Patrick,
thank you.
Yeah,
I mean, again, another scenario where he was highly touted, considered to go first overall at one point, not in the league anymore. Nick Suzuki would definitely go higher than 13th in a redraft.
Well, look, there was Makar.
Yeah.
There was Robert Thomas. There was Iskanen. Look, Suzuki for sure would be a top 3 to 5 pick.
Jason Robertson,
Jake
Ottinger, Elias Patterson. 2017 is a solid draft. Yeah.
It was a solid draft, and that's why I had Suzuki at 15th. Not because I didn't like him, but because I didn't like him enough to put him in the top 10. Yeah. I had a comparable in the sense that, they were both playing in the OHL. I preferred Robert Thomas at the time, who was playing for London, not playing that much in London, but I figured he had great potential. I think Robert Thomas is a fantastic player.
Oh, he's so good.
So I have no shame of, having ranked him at 5. Remember, that's the draft. I had Makar at 1. He's going to end at 2. Very happy with this. But Suzuki at 15. Why at 15? I like flashier players, let's say, in general. Yeah. He wasn't a flashy player, but he scored 96 points, which was a lot for a 17-year-old in the OHL. And honestly, maybe 2-3 years ago, I went back to that season. I was able to go back to that season and find games that he played at age 17. And I was watching this and I said, yeah, he was better than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
He was let's say I thought he was a very good junior player. No, he was an excellent junior player.
Yeah.
And he was flashier than I thought he was. He made plays. He really did make plays. So probably that if I had to go back, let's say you erase my memory and I'm going to go back to the 2017 season. I'm going to watch these players again without knowing what happened to them. I would say I would probably have him much closer to 8 to 10 at the time than 15. And Vegas drafted him, and they made a big mistake because Pacioretty was towards the end of his career. He was okay with Vegas, but he really, but look, I don't know how they do it, but they got Hurtle, they got Jack Eichel. They're doing great.
That's it. No,
originally, I think when they drafted Suzuki before their first game was played, they probably thought he was going to be a top 6 guy for them.
Yeah.
Probably Cody Glass, number 1 center, Suzuki, number 2 center. That's probably what they had in mind. And they're all gone. There were rumors at the time that the Habs asked for Cody Glass, and they said no. So, and they took Suzuki. Okay. But it's interesting. It's interesting because even Vegas did not evaluate it properly.
That's it.
Because they could have said, okay, take Cody Glass.
Listen, credit to Marc Bergevin for that one.
Yeah, it was probably his best trade ever. It was probably his best trade. The fact that he also decided to trade Pacioretty, I think, and Marc Bergevin was not the type of guy who liked trading veteran players for prospects. That was not his modus operandi. But that year, the Canadiens had finished near the bottom of the standings, and he did what he called at the time, you remember, a reset.
Yeah.
And they drafted Kotkaniemi, and they got Suzuki. And they traded Pacioretty. So I think it was probably his, if not his best, one of his best moves. I would say,
underrated in that trade as well was Thomas Tatar, who came over and had really good seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. Fizzled out after that, but still.
He filled in for Pacioretty, basically. He filled in for Pacioretty. You're right. Yeah.
That was excellent. All right. 2018. Now, this is a bit of a teaser for Thursday's show because we talked about this. We're going to be doing a redraft for 2018. So tune in to Mathias et Le Serpent for the 2019 redraft. We'll be taking care of the 2018 one here at Trust the Process. But for the Montreal Canadiens, they have Noah Dobson on their roster now, a first-round pick, 12th overall for the New York Islanders. I know you were a big fan of his in junior.
Yeah, I had him 6th overall. I remember clearly. And I thought he was great for Acadie Bathurst, and he was just a great player. The only reason probably why I didn't have him higher, not only because I preferred guys like Quinn Hughes, let's say, but I thought that for a big guy, he wasn't that physical. So it was one box that I couldn't tick, but I had him number 6. I thought he was going to be a solid top 2 defenseman in the NHL. And with, maybe a 50, 62-point guy. I know he had a 70-point season, and I know right now he's not playing PP1 because of Hudson. So I think expecting 50, 55 points from this guy for the rest of his, career in Montreal would be fantastic.
I think
especially what he brings to the table. He's a minute muncher. He's a minute muncher.
Yeah, excellent.
With talent. So I really like Dobson.
Yeah, I think right now he's at 7 points in 12 games. I believe that's like a 50-something point pace. Yeah. So again, you're on the money there, and that's exactly what he's there for. So great pick there. And then the other one, Joe Veleno, the exceptional status player, first-round pick, 30th overall by the Detroit Red Wings. Did you have him in the first round? Late first. Exactly where he went. Late first. He was I thought that considering his status, I think to a lot of people he was underwhelming in the queue. But to me, he was always the player that he was. And I think one of the reasons why he got this status where he could play junior at the age of 15 was that he's born on January 13th. So basically, according to the rules, he was just 13 days away from being eligible for that draft. Interesting. Yeah. So it's not like he was born in August. Yeah. He was just 13 days away. So it's probably an argument that they had, with the CHL saying, look, if he were born on December 31st, he'd be eligible for that draft. It's 2 weeks, guys. And he was able to do it. I mean, he held his own. Yeah. He was able to do it at age 15. I remember I liked him, but I didn't love him. But I liked him. Look, he's still in the NHL. Exactly. Yeah. He's made a career out of it. So props to him. Yeah. All right. 2019. This is a big one. We're starting with Kirby Dach. Yeah. First round pick, third overall by the Chicago Blackhawks. Were you a fan of his potential, or are you like, he doesn't really have that offensive upside?
I had him between 7 and 9. I don't remember exactly, but I had him between 7 and 9 because obviously the size was appealing. He had some skills that was appealing too. The only thing is he wasn't dominant. So I was surprised that he went to number 3. I thought that Dylan Cousins, who was playing in the same league, would go before Doc. And I think Cousins has become a better player. He had a down year last year, but ever since he's been traded to Ottawa, he's been good. So I saw Doc as a second line player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he can still be a second line player with all the injuries that he's had, on an 82 game basis. And the Habs are stronger also.
Pushes him down.
Caulfield, Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Demidov. I mean, you have Bolduc, you have Zarovski coming up, you have Hage coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only 6 spots on the top 6. So I see if Doc has a future with the Habs, I see a third liner. If Doc is a third liner, like I always say, the Habs will be strong. If Doc were a first liner right now, the Habs would be very weak.
Yeah.
So it's all relative. So that was my opinion on Doc at the time.
Next up is the current goal leader in the NHL.
Yeah.
Tied with Nathan McKinnon and Jack Hughes. Cole Caulfield was selected first in the first round, 15th overall, right behind Cam York. Who's a good player. He's not a bust, right? But it's just funny to go back to that. Where did you have Mr. 5'7"?
Well, what's interesting is that this is probably the best year ever for the United States development program.
My God, that team was
Matthew Boldy, Jack Hughes, Alex Turcotte, Cam York,
Spencer Knight in goal.
Spencer Knight. It was the top year. I think seven of the first 15 picks were from that team. Yeah. So they were easy to compare. Trevor Zegras. So you could compare. Now, when I first saw Cole Caulfield at the age of 16 in that program, I remember tweeting, I said, that guy is a top 5 talent, but he's 5'7". Where will he be drafted next year? And then he had a great season.
Yeah.
And I had him ranked 10th overall. He went 15. So I thought it was good. But we're going to talk about another player from that draft for the Habs that had ranked ahead of him.
Well, the very next pick by the Colorado Avalanche was Alex Newhook at 16th overall.
I had him at 6. I had him at 6. Yeah, I think I was enamored with his skating. And what I didn't realize is that he probably didn't have the hockey sense or the skills necessary to be a top line player. But at the time, I thought he was going to be a top line player. So if I were drafting for the Habs at 15 and you give me the choice between Newhook and Caulfield at the time, I would have taken Newhook. So you see, big mistake. Although I love Caulfield, I had him 10th, but I prefer Newhook.
Yeah,
because I was concerned that Caulfield was going to be a one-trick pony. And remember, when he came to the NHL, he was kind of one-trick pony with his one-timer, on the power play. But over the last couple of years, he's developed into a playmaker, a much more responsible player. And the fact that he's 5'7" is not a factor anymore because he performs the night in, night out, at home, on the road. I mean, this is a non-factor. His size is a non-factor now. So I think he was underestimated by a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I never underestimated goal scoring because I had a show. I was on the show when he was at Wisconsin. I was on the show with Pierre Infray, the late Pierre Infray, on 91.9. And I said, this guy, he reminds me, I mean, he's not going to score 600-700 goals necessarily because hockey has changed. But I said, he reminds me of Brett Hall. He's a shooter. Yeah. And he scores. But I said, that's pretty much all he does. So it's important on a team, but I saw him more as a complementary piece. A guy who would score 40, 50 goals. Almost. Well, a guy who would score 40, 50 goals, but who would need to be fed by a great centerman. Look,
Kinda has
he's
one.
being fed by, but at the same time, he makes plays for himself.
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, you
Those
saw that
hands
goal
are
in overtime the other day. I mean, that was not someone else's play. It was his play.
exactly.
So I thought he became, I think in a redraft now, we would go number 4 maybe in a redraft.
Oh yeah, there's an argument for top 3 at least.
I think you can have like Hughes, Thomas Harley.
Cider. Cider's in
yeah,
there.
I would. Yeah, I would
Boldy's
even
in
take
there.
Caulfield, Boldy. I think before Caulfield because Boldy's a machine.
But that's
Cider before Caulfield, I'm not so sure. I think I would take him at 4 now.
That's the discussion. I mean, it's those players. So the
Yeah.
fact that you got him at 15th, listen, credit to Marc Bergevin, Trevor Timmins for that one.
Yeah, that he was still there, and there were good players
pick.
available. There were good players available. They could have taken New Hook. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And listen, that the scouting team wasn't done because in the second round, 46th overall, they took defenseman Jaden Struble.
Yeah.
Pretty good pick there. Where'd you have him?
I didn't see much offense in this guy. Late second, maybe 6th or 7th defenseman in the NHL, which is basically what he's
exactly
become.
that. Yeah.
So I think he became what I thought he would be. I think he's, let's face it, he's kind of interchangeable, you know. Number 6, number 7 defenseman, they can be replaced. So look, he's fine. He's fine. Good for him. He reached the NHL.
And it's good value for, 46th overall when you get a regular NHL defenseman. That's pretty good. So
yeah, because at 46 overall, usually you don't necessarily get an NHL player. So it was a good pick.
Now, Snake, I'm actually not done with the 2019 draft.
Oh,
because there's one player there.
Tell me.
That was not drafted.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking about Arbor Jacki. Okay.
Yeah.
He would have gone in the 2019 draft.
Yeah.
But he didn't get drafted at all.
Yeah.
Did you have him on your radar, or did he just?
I just saw a tough guy, junior hockey player. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And he went undrafted for a couple of years. Actually, I think he was.
Yeah, that's it.
He was. What was he? He was an undrafted free agent when he joined the Habs. So let's see what happens. How long he's going to stay with the Habs? Can he be traded? Can he bring some value? Can he stay as a 7th defenseman? Once Reinbacher arrives, we'll see. But for an undrafted free agent, good,
pretty good. Well, the 2019 crop is doing quite well for the Habs, and you know what? The next few are doing quite well as well. Let's go to 2020 now.
Yeah,
first round, 16th overall, the Montreal Canadiens selected Caden Gooley. Personally, I didn't know much about him. I didn't really watch. I didn't follow the WHL back then, but turned out to be a pretty damn good pick.
Yeah, I think I had him 17th or something, 17th or 18th, pretty much where he was picked. I didn't see much of offensive potential in him, but he was the number 1 pick of the WHL when he was 15. And he had a good career in the WHL. He's pretty much the player he is right now, more of a defensive guy, good skater, can move the puck a little bit. So he really became what he was drafted for, what he was in junior, except he's often injured.
It's unfortunate.
And I feel that he doesn't always protect himself very well. I know there was bad luck also involved.
Oh, the skate cutting his leg.
That's bad. But look, when healthy, he's a good top 4 guy, a guy you can pair, with an offensive defenseman. And but we'll see what happens with him. Hopefully the string of injuries ends at some point.
Gotta hope it does. The other player for the 2020 draft is the current best goaltender in the NHL, that being Jakob the Brick Wall Dobesh. Okay, 5th round pick, 136th overall. Played for Ohio State Buckeyes. Where did you have him?
Oh, like I said about Montembeault, I mean, might take a flyer on him, 6th or 7th round, because at first he was playing in North American Hockey League. And North American Hockey League was able to develop some decent goalies for the NCAA. And during the season, he moved up to the USHL, but he wasn't playing on a very good team in Omaha. I just thought at the time, I remember seeing him. I thought he was fun to watch because he was not the standard butterfly goalie. Unorthodox. So look, if had I been a chief scout and my goalie expert tells me you got to get this guy in the 5th round, I would say okay. Yeah. I always say that it's good to draft 1, 2, 3 goalies per draft. If your list is empty, if your list of interesting players is empty, at some point, why not get goalies? You never know. And that's what the Habs have been doing. So, especially since Kent Hughes arrived, we've discussed these goalies like Vorokin and stuff. So, but still, he was still a long shot to make it to the NHL. But as he progressed at Ohio State, it was a little bit clearer that he had a shot to make it.
Mm-hmm. The potential was there.
But back in the UHHL at the time, he was really a big long shot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next up, the 2021 draft. Now, again, this is COVID, right? There's a lot of confusion. Can't really scout properly.
Oh,
so there's,
boy.
The 2020, 2021 drafts, they're all jumbled up. And I think it even affected the 2022 draft.
Oh, yeah.
For 2021 now.
3 drafts were affected. But the 2021 draft, it was all over the map. The Ontario Hockey League didn't even play.
Yeah. It was a mess. Anyways, in the first round, 17th overall, the St. Louis Blues took one of your favorite players.
Yeah.
Hard not to love him, Zachary Bolduc.
Well, fortunately, the Q was able to salvage a season. Mm-hmm. Albeit a weird season, but they were able to salvage season. That's exactly where I had him ranked, mid-first round. Yeah, I liked him a lot. I thought he had the size, the strength, the goal-scoring ability. Not to be a superstar, but to be a very decent NHLer. I think this is what he's becoming. So on this one, I think scouts were right on the money, drafting him in the middle of the first round.
Yep, great value there. Perfect placement. And the Montreal Canadiens in the second round drafted a player that we've talked at great lengths on this show. 64th overall, centerman Oliver Kapanen.
COVID year.
Yeah.
Kapanen played 5 games. Okay.
Wow.
5 games. Wow. Yeah. The kind of guy, look, I briefly took a look at him, as I was going through stuff, because anyway, we had nothing else to do. So I went through so many players, I would watch Logan Mailloux in Sweden, because that's where he was during his draft year. Yeah. So I the only note I had for him was like 4th round. I just wrote 4th round. I found some papers, 4th round. That's all. I barely remember him. He went 64th, I think.
64th, correct.
Probably had him around 100, 120. Yeah. Well, wherever. So now, he's kind of like become better than his draft ranking when you think about it.
Oh,
he's made it. He's made it so far.
Yeah, he's got 7 points this season. He's among the point totals for rookies. So credit to him.
Yeah, but that's going to go down. That's going to go down.
Yeah, I mean, inevitably, he's going to get bumped down by the upcoming talent.
Look, what did he play like last week? 10 minutes, I think. There was one game he played 10 minutes. So I think it was against Seattle. Played 10 minutes. Look, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But for now, he's made it.
Yeah. 2022. Big draft year for the Montreal Canadiens. First draft year for Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton. And they get the first overall pick, and they swing on the big boy, Juraj Slafkovsky. Now, this is a discussion for the ages. I mean, we're going to talk about this for years to come, all right? But at the time, I remember it was right for Slafkovsky. Okay? Logan Cooley was in this, in the discussion, right? He was in there, but not as much as the other two.
Well, I went back and forth all year long, and usually I don't, because usually the number one guy is pretty clear cut for the industry or for myself, because I remember 2021 wasn't clear, but to me, people had Owen Power. I had Luke Hughes.
Yeah,
I stick with I stick to my guns. I had Luke Hughes, and didn't take me long to identify him. 2022, I was like all over the place. I think I changed my number one guy 5 or 6 times during the year.
Wow.
But I ended up with Slav at number one because of the size, not because of his season in Liga, because it was underwhelming. I didn't really care about the 7 goals at the Olympics because to me, the Olympic tournament was not like
No
a
NHL
real Olympic tournament. Yeah, no NHL players, so I didn't really care. Sean Farrell also did well, if you remember, I think, at that tournament. So I just said, look, I liked him a lot when he was 16. I remember seeing him, in a junior tournament. He was very, very good. I said, this guy's potential. Will he be a great point producer? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I said, no, Slav's the guy.
Yeah.
But it was like, it came down to the wire because I liked Cutter Gauthier also. I had Cutter Gauthier at 2 and I had Logan Cooley at 3. That was my top 3 in 2022.
All 3 players are having amazing seasons right now. And
Yeah.
Slav is having a really good year. You got to give it to the guy. Like, he is no longer second half Slav. He's put it into gear and he's found himself a role. He's doing excellent in it. Now we're heating up, Snake. We're heating up.
Yeah.
Second round, 62nd overall, the reigning Calder Trophy winner, Lane Hutson.
Yeah. Hudson was the best player on the US NTDP that year. But who thought that such a minuscule guy could become a star? I had a mid-second round, but as a flyer, because I didn't really think he could make it. But, he's offensive. He's very good. Why not? Because I always say that when you get to like the second round, you have to go with skill guys. Don't go with guys you think are going to be fourth liners.
Yeah.
So I'd rather take a guy who doesn't make it, who at least makes it interesting. We talked about the 4th round pick for the Habs this year, LJ Mooney.
Yeah, that's exactly.
LJ Mooney is very small. He might not make it. But I think it's more fun to draft a guy like this, even if he doesn't make it, than draft some dude who's going to play on the 4th line. Because anyway, the 4th line, you can't get these guys anywhere. Very easy to get 4th liners on the free agent market. Year after year after year, you get dozens of these guys available. But you throw darts at skill players, maybe only one out of 10 will make it, but at least you'll have that player. So I didn't think Hudson was going to make it, but I had him still ranked around, I would say, probably 45, 50. My colleague Mathias had him late first round, and he really believed in him. He believed in him as an NHLer. And he was on the chat that he was doing with me at La Presse that evening, when the Habs picked 26 and they had Philippe Michard, he was screaming for the Habs to take Hudson.
Yeah.
So I don't always agree with Mathias, as you know, on our podcast. We often have very heated debates about things, but I give credit to him. He saw Lane Hudson very, very big, and I did it.
I was a fan as well. I have to admit, I was a fan. I remember I had a desk job, and at that time I had a desk job, right? And I had my dad text me the picks as I was working, because I was working that day for the second round and so on.
On Saturday morning, yeah.
Right. And I see my dad says, Lane Hudson. I jumped out of my seat. My coworker's like, "Are you okay, man? Like, what's wrong with you?" We got Lane. Anyways, I was primed, but yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, and I completely agree with your theory. Take the high upside. Very, very few players had a higher upside than this player. So, yeah.
Look, even if the guy doesn't make it,
if
the guy doesn't make it, I mean, who cares? It's the second round.
Took the swing, exactly.
So I think it went. But then 2 years later, I ranked his brother number 14th. So I said, fool me once, but you won't fool me twice.
He's looking pretty good.
And I think Cole is doing very well. Saw him at Boston University. He's doing very well. Yeah.
He's good. He's good. Yeah. Last player, Snake. We're done here. The last player on the list, 2024, first round, 5th overall. Not sure how he slipped to 5th overall, but
yeah,
Ivan Demidov. Yeah, it's safe to say he should have gone second.
Well, yeah, but look, If we go through the picks right now, that the number 2, 3, and 4, I'll give you my take on it. Chicago, which had already drafted defensemen, and they had no offensive start to pair with Bedard. What were they thinking? Because even Levshunov, who I think is a good player, but not necessarily a fantastic player, what were they thinking? At least take Sam Dickinson. I don't think that Sam Dickinson should have gone at number 2. But I'm saying if you're going to take a defenseman, you really have to take Levshunov over Demidov. Okay. Number 3, Beckett Seneca. I do understand the Ducks. He's playing great.
Yeah, he's good.
He had a fantastic second half of the season. In the playoffs, he was like dynamite. He was a known commodity playing in Ontario. I don't blame the Ducks.
Yeah.
But the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Oof.
What the heck?
Oof.
Lidstrom had been injured all year. But, it's happened before. Roger McQueen was injured all year. Alex Galchenyuk was injured all year. I mean, there's lots of guys who were drafted very high who were injured all year. So I don't have a problem with this. And again, Lindstrom didn't play very much the year after. So now he's back at Michigan State. He's very underwhelming, but let's give him time. But he's very underwhelming. I know he's big. I know they have Fentilly and everything. But what were they thinking? And honestly, this is you have to be good when you're a GM, but you have to be lucky too. And I don't think we would be talking about the Habs with as much enthusiasm as we do now if Demidov goes number 4.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe the guy the Habs would have drafted would be good. We don't know. We don't know if it would have been Lindstrom or someone else. We really don't know. But the point is that was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
He was handed on a silver platter.
Yeah.
So that's. I think I've done a pretty honest assessment of all these guys. I mean, some guys I was right about, some guys I was wrong, and this is part of scouting.
Yeah. And this was a really fun exercise.
Yeah, I don't mind saying when I'm wrong. I mean, I don't mind saying when I'm wrong. Yeah.
And it's always nice to look back as well, knowing what we know now, right?
Yeah.
Like, some of these players should have been drafted way higher, some lower. I mean, it's really fun to analyze this stuff.
But an exercise that I've been doing, Shayne, sorry to cut you off, but just to conclude on this, an exercise I've been doing is that I go back to their draft year now. Because on Mathias and Serpent, there's a guy who asked me this question this week, and I'm going to answer it. Emmett Finney from Detroit.
Yeah.
7th round pick. And he asked me, what did you think? And he was another guy who was playing for a strong team, Kamloops. He wasn't playing much. He was playing 10, 12 minutes a game in his draft year. It didn't help. But then I said, now what I do, I go back to games from that draft year. Okay. And what I've noticed with Suzuki, with Finney, with guys like that, is that I realized that they were, and not because of what I know now, I'm trying to be objective, I find them much better than I thought they were. And I'm like, now I get it. Now I get why he was drafted so high. Now I get this. And I'm thinking, why didn't I realize it in his draft year? I saw the same footage.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not the only one. He slipped the 7th, right? So it's like.
But if I go back to Liney, I see a dynamic player. So I see the Liney that I saw 10 years ago. But other times, like Suzuki, I'm like, hey, it was much better than I thought.
Mm-hmm. Funny how it goes. Well, credit to our listener for this great topic. And folks, send in the comment section your questions for the mailbag, but topics as well, okay? We're always watching the comments. We will, if there's a good idea that's in there, we'll take it, we'll run with it, okay? Like, we make the rules here. This is our show. So thank you to, I think it was Sweet Swing that sent in that question or that recommendation. Much appreciated. Snake, before we move on, of course, got to give a big thank you to our partners who make this show possible. I want to start with our friends over at Cheapest T-Shirts. Folks, it's simple. If you're looking for the cheapest prices on wholesale apparel in Canada, you will find them at cheapesttshirts.ca. They are proudly Canadian and trusted by thousands of customers from coast to coast. They deliver unbeatable value every day. You'll always get the cheapest prices plus same-day shipping and even next-day delivery, so your order arrives fast. Enjoy free shipping on larger orders and a simple, easy-to-use website that makes online ordering a breeze. Get the cheapest deals in Canada today at cheapesttshirts.ca. And of course, don't select a bust with Betway and get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. Scan that QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. You can redeem your welcome offer. The offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer is not available in Ontario. You must be 18 years or older. Please play responsibly. All right, it's time to go digging in the mailbag. Our question today comes from He's asking, hey, Snake, question for you. What is the main difference between an NHL amateur scout and a junior hockey scout? What is the difference between evaluating a 14 to 15-year-old versus a 17 to 18-year-old?
Yeah. Fun question, because junior scouts and NHL amateur scouts, it seems like the same job, but it's not.
Yeah.
Well, because one thing I was told, the first time I was hired as a scout in 2010, the guy who hired me told me, when you write a scouting report and a prediction about some guy, tell me how that's for junior hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what kind of player he's going to be at age 19. Because junior teams are always aiming for a peak year. And a peak year has as many 19-year-old players as possible. This is how you win the Memorial Cup. This is how of course, you can have a 17-year-old who is exceptional, a couple of 18-year-olds, true. But if you look at the Boisvert, Blainville Armada this year, I mean, look at the age of the players. Lots of 19-year-old players, a few 18-year-olds. They don't have a 17-year-old. They don't have a 16-year-old. They are going for broke.
Yeah.
They're going for the Memorial Cup. So basically what's happening is that when you look at a player at 15, because guys are drafted generally after their 15-year-old season, the way NHL players are drafted after their 17-year-old season. So in junior hockey, what you're going to look for, you say, okay, 16-year-old, he might go back to midget hockey, or he might be brought up gradually, unless you're, let's say, exceptional player like Sidney Crosby or guys like that. 17-year-old season, you're hoping for the guy to at least be in the middle of your lineup. Then when he's 18, you want him to be top six, and 19, you want him to basically be a leader, a first-line player. So what you look for, you look for size, but you have 4 years to develop the guy. So very often, a 6'3" guy, 170 pound, who might be a little bit slim, a little bit awkward, you're thinking, hey, he's just 15 years old. Imagine this guy in 3-4 years, he's going to be a monster. So that's one thing. Smaller players, they tend to be better faster. So a 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" midget player might produce faster in the queue. So you have to ponder all these things. Whereas in the NHL, you look at a 17-year-old player, you're thinking, how is he going to be at 22? So it's the same reasoning. It's just that you're looking more long-term, because NHL players can have 10, 15, 20-year careers, whereas junior hockey, you have them for about 4 years. Some of them play at age 20, 3 per team, but that's it. So I think you're looking at how will this teenager become a man? Whereas in midget hockey, you're thinking, how is this young teenager will become when he's a late teenager? So I hope I answered the question well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if I might add, what is harder? I think it's harder to project a 15-year-old when he's 19 than a 17-year-old when he's 22. Because you have 2 more years of data, of information on the guy. A 17-year-old being more mature physically than a 15-year-old, it's the NHL. It doesn't mean you're always going to be right. That's not my point. But I'm saying it's harder to go from 15 to 19, my opinion. Because very often I look at 15-year-old players and I can do a reasonable assessment of who they are now. But if you ask me 4 years down the road how they're going to be, I'm thinking, oh, this is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you look at a guy, I don't know, Macklin Celebrini at 17.
Yeah.
You can project him at 22. But sometimes the best midget player is harder to project at age 19. And some of them are being drafted at number 1, number 2, number 3. And they don't have great careers in junior hockey. Because they lack something, or other players became bigger, and that's why what's very important when you draft a 15-year-old and you're looking for size, you look at the parents, you look at the father especially. So if the guy is 5'9", but his father is 6'4", well, there's a very good chance he hasn't finished growing. But if the guy is 5'9", and his father is 5'9", you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a 5'9", probably, maybe he'll grow an inch. So there's more projection, in that sense. But look, both are tough. Okay.
Oh my God, yeah.
Scouting is hard. I'm just giving an edge in terms of difficulty to the midget scouting for that reason.
Of course. I mean, there's so much development left to happen, right?
Yeah.
We can compare it to like football, where the NFL is drafting 24-year-olds.
And they make mistakes.
Grown men.
Yeah, but they make mistakes in the NFL.
Exactly. So imagine, having to scout 14, 15-year-olds and trying to project what they'll be like. It's impossible.
And one thing that is harder, but fortunately they don't ask us to do it, projecting a midget player if he's going to play in the NHL.
Oh,
forget it. Like I say, unless he's Sidney Crosby or Vincent Lecavalier or Mario Lemieux or Macklin Celebrini. But projecting a 15-year-old right now, if you showed me, because I'm scouting 15-year-old players now, and if you told me like, how many guys are going to make it to the NHL and who are they going to be? Okay, this is too much, buddy.
Nobody can do that. That's impossible. Well, great question from Philip. And again, I encourage you all to send in your questions. We get to one at the end of every show in the mailbag, and we've gotten some great questions, Snake. Our listeners are really knowledgeable, and they ask the right questions. We do appreciate that a lot. And that'll do it for us today. But again, we'll be back Thursday to do our 2018 redraft. There's going to be some great discussions there, and we might disagree on a few picks, okay? Because I got some opinions of my own.
Okay, let's debate.
Yeah, I got a few opinions of my own.
Let's
have
fun.
So I'm hoping there is some discrepancy so we can have those discussions.
Yeah,
and we hope you're all tuning in as well. Please like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, hit the hype button. It actually does help. Snake, anything else to add before we wrap up?
I hope we have the same discrepancies as we did when you talked about Macklin Celebrini for the fantasy hockey segment.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear about it every week, Sean.
That's the only miss I've had
every week about this one.
Yeah. He should have.
And then you can tell me about Kapanen every time he scores a goal.
Listen, I am in the same boat as you on that one, though. I don't see much of an upside there, but he is an NHL player. I will give him that. So that'll be it for us today. For Simon the Snake Boisvert, I am producer Shayne. Thank you to Sammy and Rosa back at Master Control. This has been another great edition of the Sick Podcast. Trust the process. We'll see you Thursday.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, Trust the Process on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.